This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so once again, welcome everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining this session. Can anyone quickly give me a confirmation if I'm audible?
Yes, Kiran. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let me also share my screen and we'll take it forward. And at any point of time, feel free to ask any questions. You don't have to wait for an opportunity. Let me see if I can share my screen. Share the screen. Yeah, again, one more confirmation if my screen share is visible.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So, okay. So, let me give a quick overview about guys, about my profile and what do we teach in this particular course. And I'm sure that's one of the main intention why we have this demo class today, and one of the reasons why you all have enrolled as well, to understand if this is what you're also looking for, right? So to give a quick overview about my profile, my name is Kiran. I come with around 2 decades of experience in the software testing space. So I've worked on multiple areas of software testing automation, worked on shift left testing, automation testing on the front end, on the back end, performance testing, security testing, accessibility testing, integrating the automated testing into the CI/CD pipelines with tools like Jenkins, GitLab, Azure DevOps. Okay. And of course, I have got better expertise working with tools like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and Jenkins. And these days, if you are observing, most of the test engineers are also expected to have good understanding on the version control management, where tools like Git becomes helpful. And you have to push your automation code into remote online repositories such as GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. Even that's becoming a part of your automation job every day. And then the organizations talk about how about putting your code on CI/CD tools like Jenkins, right? So that the automated jobs will be executed on a timely basis, which we call them as cron jobs, and then emails will be sent out as and when the jobs are executed with a detailed status, right? So we thought from Isha team, how about designing a customized course content that helps this kind of participants who comes either from testing background or from development background or from a freshers background or from a business analyst background or from a scrum master's background. Why can't we design a customized course that helps all these people, irrespective of their experience, to master this area, right? And hence, if you see, the name of the course that we have kept is mastering the version control management called Git, then remote repository management called GitHub, and continuous testing process called Jenkins. And this is exclusively for software test engineers, because I would not be talking specific on the development part. I would not be talking anything on the integrations part. It's more or less specific to testing part. I would say testers will definitely benefit. Apart from testers, I would say developers do benefit, but their expectation could be a little different. DevOps team will benefit, business analysts will benefit from this course, product managers, product owners, scrum masters, scrum members, everyone will benefit from this, right? So that's about the course title that we have kept. And we are going to talk in depth about the Git tool, which is a command line interface. Then we are going to talk about GitHub tool as well. And then Jenkins tool, mostly for from a creating a freestyle job, creating a cron job, scheduling it based on the cron jobs, configuring the SMTP protocol, configuring the build actions for a couple of automation tools, like what if I have the code in Postman, which is an API automation tool, how would I execute it from Jenkins? Or I have developed a performance test script in Jmeter, how would I execute it from Jenkins? So like that, I will take one or two tools and just give a quick overview on the Jenkins side as well. Okay, that's at a very high level. This course talks about. Now we'll go little in depth about what we deliver as well. And the entire details is present in this particular website, which we have already informed it on the group chat. We'll also put it on the chat. You can go through it later. And common questions would be how often or what is the frequency of this trainings, right? So this happens every day from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Same timings as what we are doing now, Monday to Friday, 1 hour daily. And the classes do get recorded so that whatever I say is getting recorded and you will be given access to it, lifetime access. So you can always go through it whenever you wanted to recap something. I will also ensure the notes is prepared and shared with you via a Google Drive. So moving to the content, right? Yeah. So maybe I'll also talk about what are the key takeaways for me. So maybe we'll say a person called Annapurna says, okay, Kiran, I have enrolled, but what are the key takeaways for me, right? So I have clearly mentioned here what are the key takeaways, but let me also read it out and help you understand. By the end of the course, each one of you who have completed your enrollment and the training successfully with us will have a complete understanding on the popular distributed version control management system called Git, which is a CLI tool, command line interface tool. You will understand most of the commands. I will not say all the commands because I won't be teaching all the commands. The reason is simple. Git offers nearly 100 plus commands. All the 100 commands are not important. Maybe the top 20, 30 are important because the remaining 70 are customized versions of the first 30 commands, which we can always learn on the fly and on the go. And you'll also become an expert understanding the concepts of GitHub, how GitHub can work independently, and how GitHub can work with the combination of Git. And that will also give you an edge to learn and master GitLab and Bitbucket, because once you understand GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket also becomes very simple. They are one and the same. Okay. And you will be able to understand what is Jenkins, how do you set it up on your local computer, how do you complete the initial setup process, log into the tool. You'll understand how to create a freestyle job in Jenkins and automate your API testing or performance testing. So I'll take one or two examples like that. And that's a couple of things at a high level, the key takeaways. And this course is planned for 24 hours. So I would say Monday to Friday, every day 1 hour. Probably you can say 1 month would be the course duration. Every one of you will receive lifetime access to the classes that we are teaching every day. It's a live class, guys. So we record it also so that you get the live class recorded videos. Lifetime access will be given to you. And notes is also ready and available. So let me show you how the notes looks like. This is the notes I have prepared, this is what I explain, of course. I mean, I don't read it every day. I do it practically, but this is the notes I'm going to share with you. If you see, this is close to 64 pages. All the commands are explained along with some detailed diagrams as well, as and when it's necessary, and along with some detailed screenshots as well. So I'm just quickly scrolling through to help you guys understand what are we going to do. Okay, so this is how my notes looks like. I'll just quickly scroll down so you understand. So I have the diagrams as well that I'm going to explain, and this is all the blue font that you see, blue colored font is the commands that we are doing it. So that's the detailed notes that you guys are going to receive from me. And who can enroll in this course? Like I said, anyone can enroll in this course, to be honest, because there is no prerequisite. All you have to understand is the basics of your college education is more than sufficient to understand, because we drive it from the basics. So whether you are a developer or a DevOps guy or a fresher in the industry or a student aspiring to learn something or a manual tester or an automation tester, everyone can easily master this course. Okay? Coming to the course content, right? If you see, I have classified this course into multiple chapters: chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6. So there are 6 chapters that I have prepared, uh, which is what I'm going to explain throughout this course. So let me give a quick walkthrough on what I have in each chapter. But before I do that, let me take a pause. Anyone has a question that I can take now? Any general questions that you have on this particular course, please ask me now. If you don't have any questions, give me a thumbs up reaction on the meeting so I know there are no questions. Anyone has questions, guys? You can unmute and let me know as well. Okay, Bhargavi, Shika, thank you. No questions from you.
Kiran, can we run one script on Jenkins Selenium script? I mean, one backend like API was telling, one front end script, a small script like in Selenium.
Yes, so we can do that. I mean, there are multiple approaches to achieve it. One simple approach is I'll create one job for API test, one job for Selenium, one job for performance. So three jobs if I create, all the three run in parallel based on the time that you have configured. That's one way. Another approach could be running sequentially. Maybe you will first run my backend automation. After that, I wanted to run Selenium script. And after Selenium script, I wanted to run my performance. So if you want to achieve sequential execution, that's possible, which we call it as pipelines concept. Or if you're interested in parallel approach to save your time, you can create three parallel jobs as well, and we can do that as well. So the answer is yes, simply saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Kiran, about the chapter 6, am I audible, Kiran?
Yeah, you're audible, Satish.
Yeah. So about chapter 6, you were mentioning integration of APIs, scripts, Jmeter scripts, and performance scripts, whatever. So you're gonna share the scripts of all the any I would say like the complete robust script you're gonna share.
Yes. Whatever I'm teaching, the notes is available here. So I'm going to share it. And in fact, the classes are getting recorded. You will hear it as well. And if there is any script I have prepared on Jenkins, you want access, I will give access. So everything you'll get access.
Okay. Okay.
So let me show you as well. I think that's captured here. Yeah. So I think it's there somewhere here. So if it is, let's say API specific, I think I have captured it here. I have to just merge that nodes here. So if I take this one, and if I take accessibility testing, so even I'll talk about accessibility testing involvement in Jenkins, so that you get a general understanding as well, right? I mean, specific access also you'll get to know.
Okay.
Right. So if I just do Control F Jenkins. Okay. I'll come back here, let the page load, it's taking time. But to answer your question, Satish, the answer is yes. You will get the detailed step-by-step procedure, how to integrate your API automation with Jenkins, then step-by-step procedure, how to integrate accessibility testing with your Jenkins, then step-by-step procedure, how to integrate your performance testing of Jmeter with Jenkins. If you are interested in Selenium, I can also do that. So that should not at all be a problem. So if you see here, so this is the notes I'm going to add to our notes, and you see the notes is clearly there.
We were using Playwright, Kiran. So in my case,
See, the process is same. I'll be taking three different tools, one for API automation, one for performance, one for accessibility. And once I explain this, whatever tool you use specific in your organization, the command only is different, which is your Playwright command only. Whatever I taught on Jenkins, everything is same. So 98% of your Jenkins process is same, which I'm teaching. 2% is the command that you are using on your Playwright. That also you'll get clarity over the course. Okay, where should I get this command for if I'm using Playwright?
okay, got it.
Cool. Okay, so okay, if you have any questions, do let me know, guys, anytime. Let me also talk about the chapters and the content we have. And I request you guys to go through this and let me know if you have questions as well after this demo class today. See, the idea of the demo is not to quickly open a notepad and start doing something, or open the command prompt and then start typing some Git commands, right? It looks like we are in a hurry to show my talent in the demo class. Okay, that's not important. Tomorrow, anyways, we'll do chapter 1 right away. So the idea of this demonstration class is to hear from you. What are your expectations? Any questions you have on the course curriculum? Do you want me to talk something else? Is it something I can do as well? If yes, if I can do that, definitely I will put it in the course and we will do it. If I cannot, then I will upfront say I cannot do that as well. So let me take some 30 minutes of time to, or maybe 15 minutes time to quickly talk about my chapters. So chapter 1 talks about introduction to version control management. We all understand version control, right? When you work on automation process, you write the code today, and tomorrow you make few more changes, and day after tomorrow you might make few more changes. But the code you have written day after tomorrow might be broken. You wanted to come back to day one code. But if you have not maintained version control, you cannot go back to the previous code, meaning you cannot restore to the old versions. So the industry says we have to talk from a version perspective, V1, V2, V3, or V0.1, V0.2, V0.3. So version control management best practices explains how to do version controlling using a Git tool, and how you can restore your original, the previous changes. How can you handle the conflicts that happens when multiple people are working on the same document, etc. So that's the intention of the first chapter. So we'll first understand what exactly is version control management, why do I need it, and why developers or automation testers use it, and what are the challenges we had in the initial years when version control management has not come into picture. What are the changes made, right? And what are the two popular version control management systems? So we have two things: centralized version control system and distributed version control system. So in centralized version control system, we use tools like Tortoise, then Subversion. But in distributed version control system, we use tools like a Git, and so many other tools are there which are competitors to Git as well. So we will essentially talk about the differences between centralized version control system and distributed version control systems. We'll also talk about the differences between centralized versus distributed version control system. Okay. Right now, I don't want to go deeper into those things, but tomorrow onwards, we will talk deeper. And then the introduction of Git and GitHub will happen. And most of the times we get confused. Are Git and GitHub same? The answer is no. They're completely different. They're completely contrast. Git is an open source tool. GitHub is a commercial tool, but we do have the open source tool. GitHub is from Microsoft. Recently, a couple of years back, maybe around 6-7 years back, Microsoft acquired GitHub. So we'll talk about all these things in chapter 1. Chapter 2, straight away, we'll get into the Git installation process, Git walkthrough. How do you set it up on your Windows or Mac? Pretty simple process. And what are the different terminals available from Git? Essentially, Git bash is a terminal available, which means one, I can use the traditional Microsoft CLI command and type my Git commands here, or I can install Git bash on my computer. And this is a colorful interface that Git provides when you install it. So this is little colorful, right? So you see some colors like this, right? So we can also use this. So these are the two editors that we'll be looking at. We'll understand the Git workflow as well, right? I mean, directly if we talk about this command, that command, it looks a little bookish. But our training has to be focused in such a way that you understand the workflow of Git commands and how Git architecture looks like. Okay, I may not explain it now, but I'll show a quick diagram here which talks about the Git flow, right? So these diagrams explain the centralized and the distributed version control systems, which I have prepared, and the Git workflow talks about this. Okay, so these are the Git diagrams, Git workflow diagrams. So we'll talk about that in depth. And often we hear the words local repository, remote repository. What does that mean? What are the disadvantages and advantages of local and remote repositories? We'll talk about them. Then how do you set up your email and password on the Git system, which is like introducing yourself to the Git tool using your name and email. And why do we do that also? I'll explain it. It's pretty simple. When you commit your automation code to GitHub repository, another colleague of yours might download that work, and he or she would like to know who did this great work or who did this mistake, so they can contact you, right? That's why Git says you cannot do anything anonymously. You have to provide your name to Git. You have to provide your email to Git so that Git records it and pushes these details to remote repositories like Git, like GitHub. Okay. Then there are so many commands that we are going to learn here. I'll talk about few commands that most of you relate. First, we have to initialize the Git repo on your computer, followed by, you know, staging the files into your local Git repository or tracking them, then committing the changes, then solving the conflicts if any, and then you push the code into GitHub repository. Sometimes we pull the code and then we do all this process. So there is always a confusion in engineers who are very beginners in this area. Should I first push or should I pull first? The answer is simple. We always pull the code first and then we make the changes and we push the code. Why should I do it or why should you do that? We'll understand that in the coming chapters. Okay. And there are so many Git commands that we are going to explore here. There are so many commands that I have captured here based on the need I saw in my projects, right? So I've taken so many commands here. So again, I'm not reading all those things because they're pretty much present here. All these Git commands will help you to achieve most of the work that your developers are doing or the automation testers are doing. In fact, the commands I'm teaching you are beyond the reach of testers as well, meaning something you don't have to learn, but still I'm teaching them, because when you talk to your developers or when you talk to a technical person in the DevOps team, you should also have equal knowledge so that you understand what they say. So we have taken so many Git commands here in chapter 2. We'll talk about the tagging process as well, which is nothing but the release management process. Then in chapter 3, we'll introduce the GitHub tool, which means by the end of chapter 2, you are proficient in Git. Okay. Then in chapter 3, I will introduce the Microsoft tool called GitHub, which is an online repository, which is nothing but, if you just go to github.com, you will get all the details over here, right? So what is this github.com? How do I sign up? How do I sign in? And what should I do after I sign in? What are the different ways to sign in, etc. All those things will be there. And after sign in, do I still have to use Git to do my data into GitHub, or without Git also I can do? So the answer is both. Using Git, I can push my data into GitHub. Without using Git also, we can push the data into GitHub. So there are two approaches available that I am teaching, but in the industry, there are 100 approaches available. Meaning, depending on the tool you use, an approach is there. If you're using Eclipse, Eclipse has a GitHub plugin or a Git plugin. If you're using Visual Studio Editor, VS Code Editor, that has another plugin. If you're using IntelliJ, that has another plugin. So like these three approaches additionally are coming up. So there are hundreds of approaches available. How you can push your code from local computer, which is local repo, into remote repository, which is GitHub. We'll learn all those things over here. Okay. So I'll explain you how do you create a project in GitHub, how do you create your initial repository, how do you push existing repo on local computer into GitHub, or how do you start from scratch from GitHub repository, how do you download it or how do you clone it. And in cloning also, there are two ways: using HTTPS protocol, which is a secure protocol, otherwise using SSH, secure shell as well. Then what is the difference between these two? We'll also talk about them. We'll talk about GitHub push process, GitHub pull process. Then we'll talk about how do I fork someone else's project so that I can contribute to it. And what if I clone it? What is the difference between cloning and forking, and how do you do that? And then importantly, how do you ensure your remote repository is safe, secured? How do you make it public? How do you make it private? How do you delete it? And probably, let's say I've done so much of work in the current organization, but I'm resigning now for some reasons, and I have to hand over my GitHub repo to someone else so that that person becomes the owner. So how do you do the handover process? That is also covered here in the form of transfer of ownership. So by the end of chapter 3, you will become an expert in GitHub tool. Again, when I say expert, not mostly from a testing perspective, I would say, from a test engineer perspective, from a DevOps perspective to some extent, from a management perspective, right? There are people who are expertised in GitHub in the industry who work exclusively on GitHub. So I don't mean that you will become a replica like that, because if that is the case, the course has to be exclusively designed only for GitHub. But I'm covering most of the areas. Then in chapter 4 and chapter 5 and chapter 6, it's completely focused on Jenkins. So chapter 4 explains what exactly is Jenkins. Is it a client-side tool or a server-side tool? How many ways are there to install this Jenkins, and which file do I recommend, which is nothing but jenkins.war. So if you go to their official website, jenkins.io, you can see here, Jenkins is available as a long-term stable release or as a weekly release, which is prone to bugs. And to download Jenkins, there are multiple ways. You can download as a Docker file, Kubernetes file for Ubuntu, Red Hat Linux, Windows, Mac, etc. Okay, so I'll talk about all these options and which one I recommend. So mostly I recommend the first option, Java package, which is a WAR file, because this is independent of your operating system. This will work on your Windows. This will work on your Linux. It will work on Mac. It will work on Ubuntu. It will work on Unix. It will work on any operating system. I recommend this, and this is what I use as well. So then we will see the setup process of Jenkins file. So there are series of steps involved to set up Jenkins. So Jenkins is not like you install it. There is no installation process. You download the WAR file, then you run it using a command called java space -jar space jenkins.war. Using that command, you run Jenkins. When you run Jenkins, you get an admin username and password. Then you have to complete the setup process by installing plugins, etc. So we'll see that all that process in chapter 4. It's a walkthrough of Jenkins setup. Typically, we do it on the server, but since it's a training, we will do it on our local computers. Okay. Then working with Jenkins jobs. So once Jenkins is installed, we have to create freestyle jobs, which will help you to automate your Playwright automation, Selenium automation, or API automation, or performance automation, or accessibility automation, or security test automation. Any automation scripts, how do you integrate it with Jenkins? Then chapter 5 will help you with the prerequisite process, like how should you create a job. So I'm here explaining how do we create a job. In that, I'm focused on freestyle job. How do you configure the source code? How do you write a build trigger? How do you create a cron job? What is the logic that you have to follow here? What are the post build steps you have to do? Like you will say, hey Kiran, after my job is executed, my colleague has to receive email, my client has to receive email. Can I do that? The answer is yes. I should receive emails only when it fails. Otherwise, it is spamming it. How do we do that? I'm going to cover that. Okay, so all those things is part of your chapter 5. You can see here setting up email notifications. And you'll also see the console output in Jenkins, which helps you to understand the logs of why your script has passed or why your script has failed. That's about chapter 5. So by the end of chapter 4, you will become an expert how to set up Jenkins on your local computer. By the end of chapter 5, you will become an expert how to create and configure a Jenkins job for any automation project that you are doing. Okay. Then chapter 6, which is our final chapter. This is where I will do practically. I'll take one API automation script that I have prepared. I'll explain at a high level what does that automation script. Even if you don't understand my code, that's okay. Assume you prepared it, someone prepared it. How do you put it on Jenkins? So 1, I'm showing you from Postman to Jenkins integration. 2, I'm showing integration from Jmeter to Jenkins for performance testing. 3, I'm showing accessibility testing integration to Jenkins, and the tools I'm taking are 2 tools, a tool called Pally, a tool called Lighthouse. So I'm covering one non-functional testing accessibility, another non-functional called Jmeter, another backend automation called API automation using Postman tool. And these 3 practicals should help you to work with any other 4th automation tool in your own way. For your current projects. Okay, so meaning it won't be different if it is Selenium or Playwright or Appium or Cucumber or TestNG or anything else that you talk about. Then we'll talk about how do you execute all these automation tests, how do you generate test reports, where do I see the test reports, how do you ensure that these test reports are emailed to your developers, right? So by the end of chapter 6, you will understand integration of your automation with the Jenkins tool and how do you integrate your SMTP protocol in Jenkins to send automated email notifications. And if you say, Kiran, we use a Slack, we use Microsoft Teams, can I also use that to notify? I will tell you at a high level how you can do that, and that's also possible. That would be the end of chapter 6, and that's where we conclude the course as well. But the key takeaway of chapter 6 is integration of your automation with Jenkins tools. Okay, and by that, we would conclude the course. Whatever I have told in chapter 6, chapter 1 to 6, it would take at least 20 hours to 24 hours, meaning 20 classes to 24 classes. Okay, so that's what I'm explaining in this course. And by the end of the course, I can say whoever has enrolled, they will become a comfortable, confident software engineer who understands Git, GitHub, and Jenkins. When I say GitHub, if you just Google or ChatGPT or YouTube, GitLab also becomes easy to you. Bitbucket also becomes easy to you because they're all copy replicas of GitHub. So that's how I have designed this course. And trust me, it's a completely customized course by me, which I deliver for corporates, which I deliver for institutions, so that every engineer benefits out of this. Okay. That's all I have in this quick demonstration session for today. I'm not doing any practicals today because we don't want to rush and bombard you with knowledge and confuse you guys. We still have 30 minutes, 20 more minutes, and I would rather hear from you guys if you have some questions and if you want me to explain something else or talk again on something, or you are looking at something else and do you think this is not the one that you are looking at? Do you want me to talk something else? Okay, the session is open now for all you guys. Please unmute and let me know your questions, or use the chat window to put your questions as well, whichever you're comfortable. I'm stopping my screen share, but over to you guys.
Hi, Kiran. This is Bhargavi.
Okay. Hi, Bhargavi.
Kiran, are we including this Copilot also?
No.
No.
Copilot,
Okay.
you mean Microsoft Copilot, right?
GitHub
Or GitHub,
Copilot.
GitHub Copilot. Okay, no, we are not talking anything on the GitHub Copilot.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah. No issues. Yeah.
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 But any general questions that comes up in the course, like, hey, I don't know what is GitHub Copilot. Can you talk for 30 minutes, 15 minutes? During the course,
Okay.
that's something I can definitely do because I do it as part of my office projects and the client deliveries. I
Okay.
I use a lot of AI in my work
Hmm.
to
Okay.
understand how AI can improve my productivity. So
Hmm.
so in my course, I have not written it anywhere in the course curriculum, but
Yes.
if it is something that helps us, that helps you guys in
Yeah.
the course, let me
Hmm.
know. I'll probably have one class dedicated for that. And if I see good
Okay.
improvement and good success, maybe I'll include that from the next batch. I can directly put it on my course content as well if you guys see that it's benefiting you.
Okay. Sure. Sure, Kiran. Understood. Thank you.
Okay. So I've received one question. Any other questions from others? Okay. So maybe, okay, I have a question on the chat. Thank you, Jay. Will you cover some basics? Definitely, yes. Basics will be covered, like whatever I'm talking about. If you say, I don't know what is Git, I don't know what is GitHub, I don't know what is Postman, I don't know what is Jmeter, I don't know what is accessibility testing, I don't know what is Jenkins, because these are the words we are talking about in this course, right? If those are the questions you have, I'm going to cover it. It's not that if you ask only, then I'll cover it. I'm going to cover all the basics as well. That's why I said anyone can enroll in this course because this course is designed in such a way that every one of you will benefit, right? And one common question everyone will have is like, what kind of training material do I get? So this is the major notes that you guys are going to get from me. I'm going to make a lot of changes as well. Every time I complete a batch, a lot of additions do happen. So you'll get the detailed notes here. This will be your one place to go. And I also have from an interview perspective. So I have some general questions prepared here, which will help you guys check your knowledge. So it's a post assessment I have done. Uh, at the end of the course, you can just go through it. The answers are anyways given in green color font. So you can always change the color by doing Control A, change the color to black so you don't know the answers. But these are the set of post-assessment questions I have prepared, 35 questions. Okay, so this is another thing that I'm going to share with you. And you will also get course completion certificate from Isha team after the course is completed. And you can also get in touch with me over WhatsApp anytime to have your questions answered after the course is completed or during the course process as well. It's not that we end the relation after the course is completed. You can contact Isha team anytime. You can contact me anytime to say, hey, Kiran, I took your course 6 months back. I have this question on GitHub. Can you assist? Yes, we assist. Okay. Okay, so Venki has a question. Do I execute Jenkins test suites in local or virtual? So I will put it on my computer, meaning I'll install Jenkins on my computer, which is my local computer, and I'll be executing it. And the process is same whether we do it on a virtual machine or on local machine. So it's the same process. Just that we don't do it on. I mean, I'm not going to a server and doing all this process. That's the answer, Venki. I hope your question is answered. Then I have one more question from Ravi. With this course, which other tool to learn like Selenium or REST API or Jmeter? Okay, cool. So you don't have to learn any other tools, though I have taken the names of Jmeter and Postman in this course. You don't have to learn the tool and join. Neither I will explain that in the course because those tools are completely different and it itself is another course I offer. Okay, but I will give you a heads up. What is Postman? What is the work I have done? How we have to put it in Jenkins? Why you have to put it like that? Okay, so you don't have to worry about those things. Definitely it is not a prerequisite, Ravi, but if you are interested to learn these courses as well, please connect with Isha team. I train on API Postman testing. In fact, I'm starting the batch parallel to this, right? Meaning this course is from 8 to 9 p.m. IST, right? From 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm starting API automation testing using Postman tool. If you are interested, today is the demo class just like this also. Just message Isha team, they'll give you the link. You can join that as well. Okay, Jay also has a question. What kind of tools apart from Postman do you use to demonstrate Git push, pull, etc.? Okay, I use Jmeter and I use accessibility testing tools like Pally and Lighthouse. Okay, and I'm not using any tool like IntelliJ or Eclipse. I'm using the Git bash terminal. We'll do everything from the command line prompt only. That's the answer to Jay's question. Any other questions from anyone else? So the course is from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. same time, 1 hour every day, Monday to Friday. The classes will be recorded and you will get access to it, lifetime access. The notes will be shared with you on a daily basis, lifetime access. The first 5 minutes of the course and the last 5 minutes of the course is reserved for questions so that you can always ask questions, get your questions answered by me. And I usually make it a two-way session so that you ask and I answer. It's not that you have to be on mute and I continuously talk for 60 minutes and then we close the class. Because you're investing your 1 hour time to learn something and it is my job to answer your queries as well, right? So let me know guys if you have any questions. Otherwise, I think that's all I have in this quick demonstration class. And tomorrow the batch starts, meaning day 1 happens tomorrow. I treat it today as day 0 for demonstration only. Day 1, chapter 1 testing starts from tomorrow itself. Okay, any questions? Let me know. Otherwise, we are happy to sign off. Okay, I hear silence. So thank you very much for your active participation today. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everyone again. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Please talk to Isha team if you have any queries or let me know on the WhatsApp chat. I will answer your questions. Take care. Good night. Stay safe. Bye-bye.